Welcome to Lights in the Night, the show that's exploring the unknown, one light at a time. I'm Russell.
And I'm Max. We're talking UFOs, alien life, and the mysteries of the cosmos.
Is anyone out there? Tonight, we're looking for answers.
Join us, if you dare. The lights are on, and the night is calling.
Lights in the Night. It's time to shine a light on the darkness.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lights in the Night. I'm Max Duckworth and I'm joined by Dana Sardano and Russ Johnson. We have a very exciting topic today. We are going to talk about Jesus and his message, and these two know a lot more than I do, so I'm looking forward to hearing about maybe a more positive spin on the typical message people are familiar with. What do you guys?
Okay, well, yeah, that's a good thing. Well, I always take off from when I look at Luke 4:18, and then question Jesus says, who are you, what are you doing here, and what is your ministry, and what is your purpose, what are your goals and objectives? And he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. I have come that you may have life more effectively. And he goes on in John 10:10 and says, I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. So we have a person here who has spoken to Jesus because she does the intuitive work, and she's get all the messages and shares it with the rest of us in the world. So, Dana, thank you very much for being with us.
So, I before I get into my we'll call it my crazy, I just want to mention that Sally's here.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and Sally is a brilliant channel, and she has her show. Zena.
Call me Zena.
Call me Zena.
But my name is Sally.
I know Sally, but I immediately go to Zena Warrior Princess.
Yeah,
that's strange.
By the way, Zena was on the table for a name for my daughter, but that's
That's
besides the point.
interesting.
But because she channels and she's got the connection with Jesus, and my information comes from my own telepathy and meditation, but my dear friend Anne-Marie Scordy, who's a brilliant trans channel, and she was on Brooklyn Cafe After Hours last night. Oh my God, catch the episode. It was awesome. But she channels Jesus regularly, and I actually several years ago did an interview with her, asking him all of these questions, and so I'm very interested to hear what Sally's take is
As
on.
I am to hear your story. on
Yeah.
that.
So I'll just share some of the bits and pieces, and I know that Max, you've watched it, so whatever I'm forgetting, feel free to pop in with the questions. But essentially, some of the questions I asked were really, I started small with just trying to kind of question like what we know in our history. So the first question I asked actually was like, when's your birthday? And he actually came through and said, why are you asking me that? Like, of all the things I could ask, why would you ask me that? And so, of course, I was like, because I thought that, like I got like a child, And he was like, no, I'm just curious why you'd ask. I said, because I want to know the history, what we've been taught. Because if that's a lie, which we know is a lie, then you got to start questioning a lot of the other stuff and the agenda of why that other stuff was put out there, right? So, of course, he said March 3rd. He's got a birthday coming up. You and he are like birthday buddies.
Okay.
And then we went into, I was asking questions about his alignment and his message.
Okay.
And I'm just going to give you the topics, and then we could go from there.
Sure.
Did he believe in self-sacrifice? I asked about the concept of star seeds. I asked, oh my God, really, really cool things, because it really evolved into a very metaphysical, I would say spiritual, but spiritual still gives like an, perception, more of a metaphysical, out of this world, beings of light sort of conversation, and he was there for it, and it was really, really a beautiful conversation. And just, I'll bring it all the way home, the message overall, even with all of the metaphysical stuff, was we as humans, in our, it talked about ascension and what that means, but as human beings, the most important message is to love the self and to live in joy. And when you, I'm always touching my mic. I'm always like, but to live in the joy and love the self and give to the self, because self-sacrifice has been woven into our psyche by design. And when we as humans realize that when we have self-love and self-care and it raises our frequency, and then we could bring that to the world around us, that's how we elevate individually and collectively. And that was the overall message. Okay. So, taking questions.
Absolutely. No, I definitely agree with you. And that so much is, it's like someone once said to me, when you give a message and you pass it down and you pass it down and you pass it down, that just came to my, yes. It's a different story. Yeah. The theme may be the same, but the story is different. And I believe he came to help us, as, very much so. But yeah. I don't, in my point of view, and I don't talk about it too often because people have their own views, obviously, is that the message was there, but it got misinterpreted, in my point of view. And there's so much good that he offered, and love especially. We hear that all the time when people cross and go to the other side and are able to come back to tell the story. They all say they feel that love, and it's about love, very much so.
100%. So, and I asked him about his magic. I'm like, these stories, because I know, like you said, you're being polite, misinterpreted. I believe there was misinterpretation, and there was deliberate misinterpretation.
Having said that, I just want to say that on purpose.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, you're being said, well, it's the British.
The subject's a little touchy. Yes, but on purpose.
On purpose, yes, in order to,
of course, to control.
To instill fear and control. And if you want to look at it metaphysically, it's not just about the obvious apples to apples control. It's that if you dim our vibration collectively, we will never truly understand our own power.
We would start not to be able to wake up, and we're meant to wake up. So if that control is very controlled, it's keeping you on a lower vibrational energy.
Yes. So I asked him about, do you mind? I'm like going off.
Oh.
Okay. So I asked him about his magic and if these were just stories, and he said, I was born, and the fact that he used this language I thought was awesome. I was born, as all babies are, in perfect alignment. But because I was born to parents who were also in alignment, because many of us are born to parents who aren't, so we can learn our lessons or whatever, but because I was born to parents who were also in alignment, I was never knocked out of alignment. So at a very young age, I was lined with, he says, the source energy. And so then he says, I said, well, what about your teachers? I said, even though we're all mirrors and teachers for each other, it's all coming back to me now, all mirrors and teachers for each other, did you have teachers? He's like, oh, of course. He's like, of course there were teachers along the way, and that's how he became who he was. So then I asked, this is gonna, I said, were you sacrificed for our sins? And then his tone changed, right? It was like, I don't believe in self-sacrifice. Okay. He's like, I didn't die on that cross. Right? So I was like,
I had no idea where this conversation before I came in was going to go, but I'm relating.
Yeah. So I was wondering what your take. So he's like, I didn't die on the cross. And I said, how old were you when you died? And he said, I was 76 years old. Oh. And I said, did you have children? And he said, yes. And I said,
this is so interesting.
And then when I asked about it, he's like, I'm not going to talk about that right now. And I believe, I understand why, because if we went down that road, you put legacy in jeopardy. He didn't say that, but I got that. But he's like, I'm not going to talk about that. But he did say it had to look. He used his words very, very interestingly, because I asked about the Shroud of Turin.
He said it was an impression.
It was an impression.
So interesting.
And he was like, it was sort of like, there had to be. These are my words. Please understand. These are my words. But there had to be like a bait and switch. You know what I mean? It had to look like. And he even talked about for the consciousness of the day. Like he also acknowledged that the consciousness of that time, it had to be understood that way. Man took this man with a message. His message is no different than your message, than our messages. But man took it and created these I wouldn't say tall tales, but like made, you know how like we put our celebrities and
Right.
we put them on pedestals. He was put on this pedestal, and then he was able to be utilized to manipulate, and he didn't much care for that.
Well, you can see his point of view, actually.
Yeah, because we're all trying to pass on a
He's trying to
message.
give this beautiful message, which is all about what we actually talk about. And it's, when I said misinterpreted, I meant in the nice way I'm saying that, but it was misinterpreted on purpose.
Yeah, I tend to look at the Ten Commandments, especially the first two, when he says, and it was stated, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy mind, all thy soul, and all thy strength. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it, love thy neighbor as thyself. And on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, according to the Bible, right? The King James. And then also when you go to Romans 13:8, he says, owe no man anything but to love one another, and he that loves another has fulfilled the law. So I think the essence of that I wanted to get out as you expressed and talked about it. The essence of his ministry, what was that about? What is the takeaway that we should pass on to other people?
Compassion.
So that, because people do get confused about all the other nuances involved. So before we take a break, what will you, if you were to capsulize and be very succinct in 1 minute, what do you say his ministry was?
It was about compassion for all beings, and even in that
And
came
even
up.
the gratitude too.
Yeah,
That's very important.
And it came up in the conversation, and I said, you mean like Ubuntu? Because Ubuntu is about unity consciousness, and what did he call me?
What? Wait.
He called me clever. He's like, you're clever, and I was like, Jesus thinks I'm clever. But yeah,
really
compassion, unity consciousness, but
we
first,
say Christ consciousness, so that really sums up everything really in what we talk about, because there is a Christ consciousness. That's what the message was really all about.
That's all it was.
All about, and love.
You did a podcast on that subject matter?
No, this was this was my friend Anne Marie and I playing with her skills and my curiosity, because she was really cultivating her abilities, and I was like, I want to talk to Jesus, and he would come through from time to time. So it was just us messing around in my studio.
All right.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful interview, and I'm looking forward to you
Quick
guys.
question.
Yeah, I'd like to
how
see
did,
that.
in the
I'd like
first
to-
place,
I'd
how
like
did
to
she
see that.
contact?
That's very
She just
important.
asked for Jesus? Because I channeled, but I don't. That's amazing. And he just, I totally believe it.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm questioning that, but
right,
it came
but
through quickly?
Let me do this. This is Lights in the Night. I'm going to take a break right here. When we come back to Sally, and you can give us a synopsis.
Okay.
Of what the essence of his ministry is all about. Thank you very much. We'll be back in just a moment right here on Lights in the Night.
Lights in the Night is brought to you by Super Patch, revolutionizing wellness through cutting-edge neurotech patches that help you feel, move, and live better. Whether you're seeking improved balance, energy, or overall well-being, Super Patch has a solution for you. For more information, call 561-302-2588 or visit us online at ufo.superpatch.com. Take the first step to a better you with Super Patch.
We're back, and the night is getting darker.
The lights are still on, and the truth is waiting. Stick with us.
More mysteries, more lights in the night.
Okay, welcome back to Lights in the Night. Very interesting subject. very controversial in terms of how people have been programmed and understand things. I go through a statement that says, just because you have been told something and you believe it doesn't necessarily make it true. Yeah. So anyway, when you look at all the religions of the world and you have been programmed to believe in the Buddhists and Baha'u'llah or whomever, so there's a lot of information out there. But anyway, let me go back to Sally as promised. And Sally, when you do a synopsis on his ministry, the essence of what he's saying, how do you look at it and what do you think?
I feel the essence is truth, absolutely 100%. But it was so just taken away from his words was so, I say misinterpret, but they were done that on purpose. So whatever he said, they looked at it from a different point of view because they wanted us to look from it from a different point of view. What he came to was to spread love, to have peace on earth, to have heaven on earth, which didn't happen, and it's still going on. And I have to say this till today, because we're so, I don't often mention this, but we are so brainwashed, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, when I listen to William Tompkins and Corey Good and all those people, David Wilcock, you know, they say that we've been programmed badly. We're on a prison planet.
Absolutely.
It's like the Truman Show. Remember the Truman Show years ago?
Yes.
In that little cul-de-sac running around.
Right.
Everybody observing. That's where we are on planet Earth.
But little by little, Ross, and you see that more information is coming out.
Oh yeah.
Which you're very.
So it's not an accident that we are here talking about this in the age of disclosure.
Absolutely.
Because it's all going to, like, truth crushed the earth will rise again.
Right.
We are there, and the truth of it. And all of us should have a podcast.
The truth will set you free.
Yeah, right. And all the people in the world should have. The more podcasts people have, and the more they're on radio and television, it's very important to get this message out to the masses. Did you had a comment? Don't want to get mad.
Well, I mean, one thing that was fascinating in the interview with Dana, and you touched on this a little bit, is that you asked about the Bible, and he said, which Bible? And I think it's just like we were talking about programming. Everybody's so programmed to think there's one right, correct answer, but there's parts of truth in all of it, maybe.
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was interesting, because we're talking about the compassion and the love and all of that.
Right.
But another thing that's really, really important, and this is a lot of the stuff that I focus on with the work that I do, is that if people understood that there are no limitations, if we all individually understood that we are a fractal of divinity, and that when we align and allow that divinity to run through us, like it's limitless. Like that is like the healing powers and the magic and all of those things. So individually, many of us understand that, and we're utilizing that and applying it to our lives. But if we understood it collectively, and he was saying that, he was saying it in his preachings, for lack of a better word, and he was saying it in our interview. If we understood collectively, and we elevated collectively what we could do, the wine to water and all of the
it can be done, but it's so much better when it's in collective, you know.
Well, it's more powerful.
Absolutely.
It's more powerful.
It still can be done, though, just so the viewers know that.
It's just a couple of us in our basement.
Yes, but I mean, it has more impact, and it's happening.
Sure. I want to go back to the Bible once a month. And it says in John 15:12, 15:12 shows it. But he said, all the things I have done and you can do, and much more. That's important for, so he raised the dead, he made the blind see, he made the person rise of
Lazarus,
from the dead. He walked on water. He said, if you have the faith, talk about that for a minute. The faith, to move mountains, like Paul says in 1 Corinthians, first chapter through 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am but a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Talk about that.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to talk about that, but I will talk about the faith.
Okay,
and,
go ahead.
And the faith, for me, you know, if we want to put it in the New Age, the more New Age terms, you know, the intention or the belief. And I am saying all the time, your beliefs create your reality.
Okay.
And it's not to know, and it's not to hope or desire. When you believe something, when something just is, it is. And I think I asked him at a different time, because we would talk to Jesus a lot. It was a phase. But I was like, so if I believed I could put my hand through that wall, I could put it through the wall.
Right.
And he's like, the only reason you can't is because no matter how much you say you believe it, you really don't believe it. You really don't, because because your humanness knows you can't do that. But that faith that you speak of, many of us have lost faith. We've lost faith in ourselves. We've lost faith in the systems. We've lost faith in the world that we live in. And when humans, we attach the word faith to religion. We attach faith to
That's
God.
what
But faith is really just having a belief and knowing and trusting it.
I always say that, even on my show, if you believe it, that this is more important than anything, just believe it. There is nothing, absolutely, and I feel really strongly about this, there is nothing that you can't do.
Oh,
Well,
Sally, preach it.
But you got to
Yes.
believe it. I try to do that a lot on my
and
show.
it says in Galatians 9:6, I believe, that if you have the faith as small as the grain of a mustard seed and say unto that mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea, it will do that.
Absolutely.
So that's the kind of faith. But obviously aliens have that kind of faith, because when they abducted you, they took you through the walls. Whatever you want to call it.
That's all right. My friends, they'll understand that.
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
When they can take you through ceilings, they can take you through the wall.
Yeah, but
Right.
you know how that belief, even with me, when I first had an experience, I'm going to say an outer body, I was so scared when I realized what had happened, and I had it explained to me that the fan itself was going to cut my head off. But the belief, and I did believe, and I wasn't scared, and I've gone to some amazing places through this, and I would not change this for the world. But I love it when you're putting on shows like this to let people know, we're not alone. There are a lot of people that want to believe this way, but they're so
They're afraid.
afraid.
They're afraid.
So so if somebody who's maybe a little bit of a skeptic or has maybe difficulty with, but maybe they want to get to that level, is there anything they can do? Like, is it meditation or journaling, or what would you maybe recommend for a newer listener to, like, I want to believe, I do believe it, but like you said, I'm in front of that wall and I feel like there's certain concepts that I just, my human mind sees a wall and I can't unsee it. And so
I think it starts with, and you said meditation is perfect, you got to quiet the mind.
Yeah.
Now, anytime I had been told meditation over the years, like, I don't want to, no, because it's hard to quiet the mind, because first thing we're going to do is grab our phone or distract ourselves. When you quiet the mind and you just listen, things will come up, and those are the first things that you have to look at. And sometimes it's yuck, right? The yuck comes up. And after a while, when you address the yuck, because you can't ignore the yuck, because the yuck doesn't go away, then wisdom comes up and insights come up. And when you start to see that and then apply it to your life and then see a positive consequence, then you start to believe. And then the more you do that and then address the yuck and then more faith, it really evolves into, but it takes time.
But you've taken the first step, because what many people don't do that. They just, first of all, they may sit there and say, it's not happening to me, because it's not happening to you. Many people say that. In fact, when I have in my book too, my friend, and I love her, she's still around, she said, but all these things are happening to you. Why they're not happening to me? She said, I think I felt someone pull my blanket. And I'm going, but the truth is, as long as you believe that, and through our stories to help people to understand this a little bit more, you've taken that first leap in faith, really.
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of programs out there that did. Billy Carson, he does a great job in explaining this. And then you got Greer,
Yes,
Stephen
there's many.
Greer.
I often talk about Gaia TV because they are coming out with so much on Gaia. You can find it on YouTube, but you have to subscribe to it, but my gosh, is it worth it. I mean, I just say to the TV, now turn on something that I'm wanting to listen to.
Right.
And I believe I'm going to get the right program that I want to hear, and I do.
Yeah, and the
And Steve
algorithm,
will
my algorithm on social media is, cat videos, food, and aliens.
I'll tune into the aliens.
My favorite things. That's the aliens. The light beings.
Well, I want to give people some goals and objectives in terms of some homework. I would watch Elizabeth April
Yeah.
She's masterful.
She's young and she's
yeah, oh yeah, she's about 30
Very
years
good.
old. She's
Yeah.
been doing this since she was 3 years
She's
old.
amazing.
She talks about all that. As a matter of fact, she goes out of body to the galactic command.
Right, she does,
And,
yes.
and you know about her,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, yeah. And Linda Muton Howell.
I don't know who that is.
You
No,
don't
she's
know her?
it's funny because
She's been out there since 1979 doing all this. How about Laura Eisenhower, the great-granddaughter
Yeah,
of...
yeah. Also, Billy Carson, you asked me last
Go ahead.
time, and I was
Go.
like, I don't know who he is.
Go ahead.
And then I looked him up, and I was like, oh, I totally know him. I just
Okay.
didn't put the name of the face,
Okay.
but continue, I'm sorry.
No. I'm just trying to give people homework to
Yeah.
follow that. And the book that Gillian Green was on not too long ago, she talked about Saving Jesus.
Yeah.
What did she say about that book?
She was saying she talked a lot about the Palladium. Was it the Palladiums?
Yeah, right.
And there was so much fascinating information that was. I can't wait to read it. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, but
And
it's
then-
about 800 pages.
Yes, and then there's another nice thick one that Dana gave to me the other day.
Oh,
She's
you're
like,
right.
"Have you read that yet?" I'm like, "You just gave it to me
I
Wednesday."
Dolores Cannon.
Oh,
She's
oh,
amazing. I was
absolutely.
listening to her the other day. And
Was
what
it was
she
it
said.
was it the Three Waves of
mentioned it,
Volunteers or was it the newer? I don't remember which one I gave you, but
don't
it was on. I had a bookmark. I know I had read it at some point, but I didn't mean it to come out that way. But
It was funny.
Dolores Cannon was amazing.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
many
yeah,
people,
yeah.
You know, just sometimes it'll come on and I just look at some of the reels that she made because she's been gone a little
Yeah.
while now. But
Yep.
what she said was unbelievable.
Yeah, she
really.
started years ago.
A long
George
time
Green
ago.
got her going. And speaking of George Green, there's a website called nohoax.net that you can go and look at. He left all his works there. And Dolores Cannon's work is all there. She got about 18 books and she traveled all the world. Listen, we're wrapping up here in the next minute. Let's see, do 30 seconds
Okay.
about the show, about Jesus Ministry, what's important for people to pay attention to, and then we come back to you.
I think it's important to look for the truth. I know that's hard because it's so research. Do research, which you talk about all the time, Russ. Go in, and if you hear something and you want to, hear more about it, and it resonates with you, that's what's important because it needs to resonate for you to go ahead and research it. Look that person up. I try to mention certain people, as you do too, because they are the people that are giving the truth out there. And little by little, hopefully the whole world eventually will wake up to this.
And they can get your book.
And my book is Call Me Zena, and my name is Sally, but
and
Call Me Zena. And it's my story of how I began my journey, truthfully.
And you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, on Amazon, yes. And
Wrap it
it's
up.
a lot to do with this because
Okay,
I
we
was
got
asked to project.
40 seconds. Go ahead.
I just say question everything and really take the time to look within, to be introspective, and to listen to what your heart is telling you because it's got all the answers.
Good. We appreciate you being here, too.
I appreciate you having me.
Good information.
Thank
We will
you.
wrap this up and take us out.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Lights in the Night. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, same subject.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
The lights are fading, but the mystery remains.
Join us next time on Lights in the Night. Same time, same darkness.
Until then, keep looking up.
The night is watching.
Lights in the night, where the unknown illuminates.